Today we are back with a tactic that is a one of a kind. The always amazing GYR has produced his latest in Marvel titled tactics. As today we have a tactic titled Doctor Strange, and this is a asymmetric tactic, guys. So there's no mirroring here. There's players in all sorts of positions. So first of all, let's talk about their testing. We tested this with Bayern. Obviously, we do test this with a big team. They obviously won the Bundesliga. Sorry, Dortmund fans. They also did go on to win the Champions League as well, beating Chelsea. We tested this with Middlesbrough in the Championship, and they did go on to win the title with over 100 points. And this is probably the most interesting one of the test. You've got Atletico Madrid on the screen winning a treble. Now, not only did they win La Liga, they won the Copa del Rey, as you can see here, on penalties against Real Madrid. But they also did get to the Champions League final, again beating Madrid, a Madrid versus Madrid final, 1-0. Thomas 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 with that goal. You know, you can see getting the job done with Atletico is very difficult, getting past Barca and Real Madrid in the league, let alone winning the Champions League as well. I'm just going to show you guys their Champions League run, just for those of you who are interested. You can see here on the route through, they knocked out Bayern, they knocked out Man City, they knocked out Napoli before beating Real Madrid in that final. So this tactic is a bit of a banger. If we load it up, you can kind of see it's very heavy on players in the middle of the pitch. It is kind of a 4-3-3 of sorts, but I really like this shape, and I think if you're a good team, this can really pick apart the match engine. So with this team, if we quick pick without restriction, they're best 11, so you can kind of see the players that do fit in here. Obviously 𝘼𝙗𝙗 is out on loan, but you can see here this is the best 11. There's lots of goals in the team. Rodrigo de Paul getting 16, Memphis Depay 13, Antoine Griezmann with 13, Angel Correa with 23, Morata with 19 as well, Thomas 𝘼𝙗𝙗 with 12. There's just so many goals in this team that they just kind of create real good opportunities for each other. So let's dive in and break this down. But before we do, guys, please do go and check out GYR. His links are always in the description. Go and show him some love. Tell him that I sent you, because in my mind, he is the best FM tactician out there. So breaking this down, in goal, we have, of course, Jan Oblak at Atletico Madrid. He is a sweeper keeper on defensive duty with the additional instruction of tackle harder. It's a popular one this year. To know which ones are the additional instructions, guys, they are the ones with the white cog and the red circle attached to it. And then if you go onto the edit menu, you get in here and you can see that tackle harder has been selected because it has a green outline around the edge of the box. If you do need to pause the video at any point, guys, please do so to make sure you get the tactic spot on. Moving into the right back position, we have a wing back on support with the additional instruction of cross more often and stay wider. On the other fullback position, it's a wing back, but this time it's a wing back on attack with the additional instructions of cross more often, dribble more, and stay wider. Into the two central defenders, then we have on the left a ball playing defender on defensive duty with the additional instructions of tackle harder and mark tighter. Then next to him is a normal central defender just on defensive duty on the right hand side of that pair. Moving into the midfield three, you have a roaming playmaker on support duty as the defensive midfielder here with more direct passes and of course tackle harder. Into the left side is the deep lying playmaker on support duty, stay wider and tackle harder. So this guy will kind of fill in this sort of gap here, which is why Llorente is very good for it. And then the wing back on attack will get up and offer the width on the left hand side of the field. The right hand side of the midfield three is a Mezzala on attack with the additional instruction of mark tighter. Obviously a Mez, usually they move into channels and room from positions, so this guy's going to be filling this space right here, which is really nice. Moving into the attacking midfield position, now this is a role that you don't really see a lot of. We're actually using an enganche this time. Now if I expand this, you can kind of see what an enganche is the side's prime creator, a hook that joins the midfield and attack and operates behind the strikers, and a playmaker who sticks to his position and becomes the pivot for his team as they move around him. So as you can see, he's slightly off to the left in this one. So again, if a team is occupying with a defensive midfielder, they are then being dragged out of position for another player to fill that void. So as you can see, it's 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗 if we pick the best 11, but I would imagine in this instance Depay would have played in this role. I feel like Correa would have played there, Thomas 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗. So this is an enganche on support with the additional instructions, guys, of cross more often, shoot less often, get further forward and stay wide. So again, occupying that overload on this left hand side with Llorente staying wide, Felix staying wide, and the wing back getting up this left hand side. Moving into the two strikers, strikers, the one that's slightly off to the right, and make sure it is slightly off to the right as well, guys. Make sure you pick the right-sided one of these 3 strikers. We have Memphis Depay, and he is a pressing forward on support duty with the additional instruction of stay wider, because obviously you need to add that width somewhere. And then up front is the advanced forward, which is Antoine Griezmann, with tackle harder on him. And as you can see from the analysis, we kind of cover all the main positions of the pitch with how these players are situated, which is really good. In terms of the tactical style, guys, it doesn't really matter too much what you select. We would either start with a gegenpress or a clean slate, but ultimately it doesn't really matter too much. We are playing with a positive mentality, guys, and in possession, this is how we are looking. The attacking width is fairly narrow. We are passing out of defense with a much shorter passing style and a slightly higher tempo. Mixed crosses into the final third, and nothing touched on that final third side. Absolutely. If we go into the in transition, this is how we're looking. Counter press when possession has been lost, countering when possession has been won. We are distributing to both the centre backs and the full backs via taking short kicks. Then out of possession, this is how we're looking. A high press with a high line of engagement and a lower defensive line. Yes, a lower defensive line. We're keeping the space there. We are triggering that press much more often. We are preventing that short goalkeeper distribution. In terms of that defensive line, we're dropping off more, and we are stopping crosses in terms of that cross engagement. We are stopping the crosses coming in, and this actually works a treat, and that's why it's with Atletico, because their deep defensive line really does suit this with players like Jimenez and stuff like that. Jan Oblak is probably one of the best goalkeepers in the game as well, so it works absolutely superbly. But I understand if you are a bit more of a traditionalist, I understand. Check out this playlist right here. It's all the tactics that G has released in this year's game so far.